Hey everyone, welcome back to Mighty Nighty Games. Picking up with Archaon episode 3 for the beginner's guide. Just showing you that all the settings are still on the same. Now, I don't quite remember what's going on here, so I'm just going to back off and see what happens. Hopefully they won't attack again and we'll get the replenishment over this end turn, which means we'll be in slightly better shape to fight them. Yep, there you go, they've buggered off. This guy's left here in March stance. So when you're learning the game, don't be afraid to save it, and you can back off from a fight and see what happens, because sometimes the result will be better off. It's generally better in this game to be the attacker than the defender, and that's largely to do with the AI's behavior on the battlefield. When you are the attacker, the AI tends to be a lot more passive. They'll just kind of stand there and wait for you to do stuff. Whereas if they're attacking, they'll have a tendency, especially a faction like ogres, they'll have a tendency to just like rush over at you, which is not really what you want. So I'm going to fight that manually just because we're a bit damaged up. And I want to try and replenish as much as possible so that we can keep the momentum going on the campaign. I don't want to get my army damaged to the point where I'm having to sit around for like 3 or 4 turns doing nothing and just letting them heal. Generally in Warhammer 3, it's a good idea to be trying to do something every turn, like progress somewhere. Get your armies moving towards an enemy. Be reinvesting money. Don't just sit there on a massive treasury unless you're like saving up for something. So if you're like saving up gold so that you can upgrade a city to tier 5 or something, that's an exception. But it's not great to just have heaps of tons of treasury sitting there just cuz, especially in the early stages of the campaign. If you get attacked unexpectedly and someone sacks one of your cities, the amount of money that they take off you is based on how much you've got in your treasury. So if you've got heaps in your treasury, they'll take heaps. If you've got bugger all in your treasury, then they'll only take 10, 20, 30, 100, whatever gold. So it's proportionate. So one thing you can do is you can start building buildings in cities with no intention of seeing them through to the get-go, to the end rather. You just build the buildings in the cities, and then you... this never works for me. That time. Worked that time. You build the buildings in other cities with no intention of letting them complete. You just sort of hide the gold there, and then when you want that gold to build something you actually want to build, you just go to that city, you cancel that building, and then you get your gold back. Alright, so I'm going to try and keep this guy out of it, because I actually didn't realise that he'd gotten onto his chariot mount. I don't have a problem with chariots. They're good against normal sort of infantry, but as you can see, the ogres have a lot of monstrous infantry, and a chariot will just have the tendency to get bogged down in that and not fight very effectively, and they have trouble getting away from combat, like pulling out to cycle charge. So yeah, not ideal to be using chariots against monstrous creatures. So I'd prefer just to be using the horse for him. Until he gets his... The great thing about the Nurgle characters is they get a Rot Beast. I can't remember what level they get it at, but they get a Rot Beast mount, and that gives them regeneration. So they get to ride around on the same thing that the Rot Knights ride around on. So that's one of the major advantages of a Nurgle hero, apart from all the other stuff they can do. Which isn't to suggest the other heroes don't have utility. Like the Slaneshi hero AoE debuffs are really good, and they're wicked fast when they can get their mounts, which as of... well, now that hasn't been fixed. Cornate heroes are great for holding a line and just like smashing really tough characters. They're really effective at hunting down and killing like single characters on the enemy's team. So yeah, find like enemy character models and stuff. They're really good for that. Alright, so what we're doing here is we're just using... use the Hell Cannon for a little bit more. Just want to be careful it doesn't start shooting our own troops. So we'll just move these guys out to intercept there. And we're just using the 2 characters as tanks. To try and sort of split up the enemy as much as possible so that they come at us piecemeal and not all in one go. When you're first learning this game, it's probably a good habit to get into to hide your army wherever possible at the start of the battle. And it just lets you sort of control things a little bit better. Because the enemy will react differently to your army when you've got a whole bunch of units hidden. So like for example, if you've got the majority of your army hidden, over 50% of your balance of power I think it is, or it might even be more than that, it might be like 75%. Again, I'm not real hot on the numbers. If you have most of your army hidden, the AI will actually spread out and go looking for it, which is really, really nice because you can split up an enemy army and have them come at you piecemeal and pick them off piecemeal rather than having to deal with them all at once. So that can be really, really good. So as you can see here, we're just sort of splitting them all up. The Spawn probably going to take a beating this game, but that's okay. It's about time I replace them anyway. Like, Spawn are good, but for the job that they do, which is being, like, monstrous infantry to sit in your lines and provide a bit of punch to your, like, tar pits, the infantry blocks that are just there to soak up charges. For the job that Spawn do, which is that, I would prefer Trolls because they regenerate. Some people will prefer Spawn because they're unbreakable. That's just purely a preference thing. But yeah, you'll notice a bit of a theme with me, and it's the same across, like, literally all video games that I play. I like things that give health back. I like being able to self-heal. I like, in RPGs and stuff, I like classes that can self-heal. In games like this, I like units that have regen, or healing abilities or spells. That's my thing. Alright, so the ogres are kind of annoying to run down, because, and as you will see, there's a little bit of dodgy mechanics in this game sometimes, with how units actually collide, like how the unit models collide. So, for example, when you charge infantry with cavalry, or like you charge infantry with units that have a high mass, there's a tendency for the unit to actually just get knocked down, and rather than getting damaged by the charge, their model just kind of like goes flying and they don't take as much damage. Now that can work to your advantage. So if you charged something like here, if you were charging downhill with heavy cavalry into the infantry and you threw them back far enough, they could actually potentially die from the fall damage. And that mechanic's, like, as far as I know, that mechanic's not made explicit anywhere in the game. Oh crap, that's not good. As far as I know, that's not made explicit anywhere, but it is actually a thing. Same as cavalry will often have a great deal of trouble actually hitting single characters on foot. They're not great at it. What will tend to happen is that the model that's mounted will just like run around in circles trying to charge a single character on foot, a single small character on foot. It won't happen so much with the ogres. Now these guys are in march stance, so when they're in march stance you don't actually need to run them down. If you lose a battle, if an army loses a battle and it's in march stance for the battle, it automatically gets wiped out. The whole thing is just kaput. However, running them down can still be useful because it still gives you extra XP, extra kills, and it does still account for the amount of casualties that you take, not casualties, sorry, the amount of captives that you get at the end of a battle. So captives are the resource that you take at the end of a battle. It's not like tracked on the campaign or anywhere, like you can't stock them up. It's just like a currency that exists at the end of a battle for determining how much of whatever it is that you choose to take you get. So if you choose gold, the amount of captives that you've taken will dictate how much gold that you get. Like there'll be a bonus for it. You'll get a flat amount and then you'll get a bonus based on how many captives you've taken. The same with the replenishment. If you choose replenishment, there's a certain amount of replenishment that you'll get, like, let's say 2%. And then that will increase based on the amount of captives you've taken at the end of the battle. So even in a battle like this, where the enemy's on march and they're going to get wiped out regardless, it still is worth running down as many as you can, especially when you've got a damaged army. If you can take replenishment as an option, which not all races can at all times. I don't know that Chaos can. But for example, this will help to increase the amount of souls that we get out of this, or money, or favor rather, or whatever. So yeah, as you can see, not that tough of a battle, mostly because we just controlled it well, and that's really the key to the game here. You want to be in charge of the battlefield. You don't want your units getting split up and harried from all sides and rear charged and all that sort of stuff. You want to be... I should have used the Nurgle guy's heal again. Oh well. You want to be in control. You want to be attacking. You want to be splitting the enemy forces up. You want to be the boss. And if you can't do it by outmaneuvering them, then you do it by making a very defensible position and letting them come at you and just sort of break wave after wave. So things like light cavalry, like the Maraud Horsemen, they can be really useful, as you saw in that Tamokan battle, for peeling off dangerous units and just running them around and wasting their time while you deal with other elements of the army. So they can be good for isolating dangerous units and just leading them a merry chase around the battlefield while you deal with more important stuff. And then they can bring them in when you're ready to deal with them. Notable thing, you've seen me use a lot of big infantry blocks in this campaign so far, where I just like group up all my infantry together. That is a really bad idea if you are facing an enemy that's got lots of artillery. It's a really bad idea if you're facing an enemy that's got a lot of AoE magic. So that comes back to what I said in that follow-up video. That's really just about knowing your foe and knowing sort of how they're going to come at you and responding accordingly. So because I'm fighting things that have, you know, no infantry, no hugely damaging AoE magic, I haven't had to worry about that. But when I start fighting things like the Chaos Dwarves, you'll see me deploying in a very different fashion. Because if their rockets or whatever start blasting away at big clusters of infantry, we're going to take catastrophic casualties, which is not very good. Now, I was just doing a quick check of everything, but everything's all in order. Colex available next turn, so probably what I'll do... Yeah, actually, no, we can actually just straight up afford a third army. Or a third lord. Yeah, okay, so what I'll do... Let me just check if there's anything super good back there. No. Okay, so what I'll do is next turn we'll take this settlement and we'll actually take it rather than giving it away or burning it down or whatever. We'll take that settlement and then we'll use that as a point to recruit Colex Sun Eater. And then once we've done that, we'll either abandon the settlement and tell Tamokan to resettle it, or we'll just hand it over to those orcs. I'm thinking I'll probably abandon it and let Tamokan and tell Tamokan to take it. So you can only trade a settlement to a faction if they've got adjacent territory. So I couldn't currently trade this to Tamokan because his closest settlement's like back up here somewhere. So what I'll do, yeah, I'll take that, recruit Kolek, then we'll abandon it when we move on, tell Tamokan to settle it, and then we can take the... Then we can take the Chaos Dwarfs territory. We can take Astrogoth Iron Hands territory over here. And then because that will then be adjacent to this city that we've given Tamokan, we can then give those cities over to Tamokan when we're finished with them. So we'll use them to set up some hero recruitment and put some heroes in these armies as we sort of move through this area up toward the big battlegrounds that will happen up here. So we pick up some heroes in here, and then when we're done with that territory, we'll just give it on to Tamokan. And if he's got some money, if he's got a decent amount of cash, we'll wring some cash out of him. And if not, then we'll just leave him be and just hand the territory over to him, which is usually not a good idea in this game. But if you're trying to like buff up a vassal, it can be handy. It's like you lose out in the short term, but your vassal gets stronger quicker, which is, yeah, a good thing. How am I going for this? I think, how far off the rusted branding iron are we? Still quite a way. 4 turns. Do I want to save these guys? I'll tell you what I'll do. I think I can put him up to a Chaos Warrior now. Yes, I can. Now, we're fighting Ogres, and we are notably lacking anti-large in this army. So I'm going to turn this unit of Marauders into an undivided unit of Chaos Warriors with Halberds, because they have the anti-large bonus, which you can see up there. So they get advantages against large targets, which the majority of the Ogre roster is. As for these Trolls, I'm definitely not going to upgrade them yet. I am going to wait until they are rank 6, which this guy already is. So in 4 turns I can turn him into a Bile Troll, and in pretty short order after that, or maybe even by then, those other guys should be up and running. Well, up to the relevant the required XP. Alright, so hit the city with Archaon. Yeah, look, I'll fight this manually again, because I think it'll be a settlement battle. It's not a settlement battle. Look, whatever, I'll fight this manually anyway, just because I'm trying to keep the casualties down, because I'm trying to use this time that we're just sort of moving through here and not fighting any particularly difficult battles. I'm trying to use this time to replenish Archaon's army as much as possible. And if I was auto-rolling, I'd just be taking unnecessary casualties every single game that I've then got to make up. So I want to come out of this area like stronger than when we went in, basically, which means fighting the battles manually and keeping the casualties as low as possible. So their reinforcements are going to come on over there in 2 minutes. Mine are going to come over there in 1:47. That is a bit of a dodgy map for the Hell Cannon, I mean. Although I guess I could just set it up there and just blast away. That'd be pretty cool. 1:58. What's actually in that army? So only 3 of those units are going to get over here quickly. So the Lord will, he's going to be pretty spry. The Ogre Bulls will, and the Sabertooth Tusk Pack, whatever the hell, Saber Tusks or whatever they're called, they'll get over here pretty quick. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this then. So we're going to take our 2 units of anti-large, and we're going to... So here's a tip. When you drag out the unit cards just as they are, they can do some like pretty weird stuff. So you can see here that we've got the 3 Marauders on the left and then the 2 units of cavalry. But when I highlight them and do that, they just do whatever they please and just like go wherever. So it can be worth before a battle. In fact, I'd say it is worth before a battle. Just like reshuffling your unit cards so that you like have access to everything like quickly. So what we're going to do, because we're again fighting stuff that doesn't really have anything that can punish us for taking a formation like this, we're going to go with a nice defensive position there like that. Just rotate him so that he can't get any flank charges, and do the same. Want to do the same there? No, I'll leave him for now, and we'll get the cavalry back here. I'll make them control group 4 so I can put that Lord in control group 3 when he comes in. I like to have all my characters in control groups because I like to be able to access my characters quickly. And as you've seen, characters are very, very powerful, and so I tend to rely on them quite a lot. I tend to run very character-centric armies where I can. Even like with races that can't field heaps of heroes, like with races that can field heaps of heroes, like Chaos and Skaven and stuff, like I'll just go absolutely ham. I'll make, as you saw in that other video, like I'll make armies that are just a Lord and 19 characters. And it's fun. It basically turns this into like a raid from WoW, except really easy. It's like a 20-man Torchlight dungeon. Yeah, which is like, that's fun. I enjoy that, but you may not. And so if you don't want to do that, then you don't have to. You can spread your characters out nice and evenly and have like a good complement of characters. I actually mean to do that. Have a good complement of characters in each army, and yeah, just play it sort of nice and balanced. One thing I will say is that characters can make a huge difference in this game, as you've seen. So characters used the right way, like the right character in the right situation used the right way, can like turn a nearly impossible battle into like an absolute cakewalk. So yeah, characters are very, very powerful, and I tend to lean into them, but you don't have to do that. Again, I doubt... Oh, damn it, I forgot to change his man again. Oh well. I doubt, like, for a new player, like, it's probably not going to be a great idea to play it on Legendary, just, like, to learn the mechanics. Like, you'll probably just... Like, you might even get through it, but it'll probably be quite a frustrating experience. You probably won't enjoy it. So I would suggest that it's probably better to play it on a bit of a lower difficulty. And the other great thing about that is that it gives you sort of more flexibility. There's no way that you have to play this game, even on the harder modes. Even on the hardest mode, there's no way that you have to play this game or you'll lose. But there are sort of more and less efficient ways of doing certain things, and there's more and less efficient ways of handling certain enemies, and there's certain things dictated by stats. Like certain units will just never, ever, 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 ever win against other certain units. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how good a player you are, a unit of Skaven slaves will get absolutely trounced by a unit of Vampire Count Blood Knights every single time. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. That's the way the game works. Oh yeah, I forgot they've got flying units now. That's fun. Alright, we'll just drop the artillery, and we'll just get them back here somewhere. Back, actually, they can just go there. Okay. So, ogres, as you can see, they're a pretty tough foe. They don't give you a lot of room to maneuver, but there are a couple of things that you can do to tip the scales in your favor with ogres. So ogres, kind of like Slaanesh, they really benefit from being able to charge. They get like the ogre charge bonus, which you can see. I'm just going to pause it to show you the stuff. That thing there. So when they're charging braced defenders, so like units that are just standing there ready to go, ready to take a charge, they get less of a reduction to their charge penalty. So basically, they're always really, really good at charging. And so, like Slaanesh, they will try and break you up piecemeal and sort of continuously cycle charge their units, and just be always racking up that charge bonus on you. However, they've got pretty low leadership, and they don't respond well to their general being killed. So one of the good things you should do for ogres, but they're also very quick, and their characters are very quick, So what you should really do as ogres is try and get their infantry blobbed down, or like locked down as much as you can, like this. Oh, hey, you're here, cool. Try and get their infantry locked down as much as you can, and then look for the vulnerable spots and smash that. And if you can get their characters away, if you can sort of tank their characters a bit further away, you can see, if I mouse over here, the Ogre Lord, that blue circle, that's how far his leadership radius is extending. So we've got quite a few units over here that are outside of his leadership radius, and you'll notice that they're the ones that have been breaking. Now, that's now been counteracted by the second Lord coming in, because his leadership radius is now covering a lot of that area. But before that, that's why this flank was breaking harder than that flank. Okay, so I'm not going to use all 3 units to run them down. That would be massive overkill. I'll send the Hellstriders, because if they get caught flat-footed by an Ogre charge, they are going to suffer. So I'll take them out that way. I'm going to get the Knights back here. So yeah, if Ogres, like Slaanesh, if you can take away their ability to flank you and run around you and like constantly be racking up those charge bonuses, you take away a lot of their combat potential just straight off the bat. They don't deal well with being bogged down in combat. They tend to lose their leadership pretty quickly, and then they flee. And especially if you can ping like that one of their characters and get that permanent leadership debuff. The Lord killed one. Oh, that's my guy. Yeah, so over here, so that one's at leadership 7. So they're not going to last much longer. Now, ogres can also be very, very difficult to run down, depending on what faction you're playing, because they're fast. So something like dwarves, like you're not going to have a lot of success running down their units. Mind you, as dwarves, you're not going to have a lot of success running down anything, short of... Well, no, you're not going to have a lot of success running down anything. Maybe other dwarves. So yeah, so you don't have to worry too much. Like your knights and stuff like that will be able to run down, like the Noblars and stuff, no worries. But again, because of that like collision thing, a lot of the time what will happen is even your knights and stuff, they'll just end up kind of pushing the ogre models around instead of actually dealing damage to them. And they just kind of play this like weird game of like sort of shunting each other around. It's like playing corners in the car when you were a kid. They just kind of like bash into each other. It's like a mosh pit, and they actually don't do really like a whole lot of damage. I'll show you what I mean with this guy. So I'll charge the knights at him, assuming they can catch up to him. So this is what I'm talking about with having to like reissue orders, because some of those units were still in contact with that last unit, still are. They keep wanting to turn around and fight them instead. Yeah, they're not even going to catch him, because we're at 67 speed and he's at, what's he at? 59. And we're at 53, yeah. So we're not even going to catch him. So yeah, like I said, it can be difficult to run down ogres, so don't worry too much. But I will just keep smashing these Noblars, because I want to get as much cash and as many souls as possible. Now, for someone like a faction like Vampire Counts, so that always gives me an opportunity to use that heal again. A faction like Vampire Counts, you will do as much good work after a battle as you will during a battle, because you've got like a lot of regenerative magic to use. So yeah, don't always just hit end battle as soon as the battle ends. Like look around, see what you can do. If you've got abilities like healing abilities and stuff that you can use, healing magic. Like so if I had a healer in this army, because I hardly used any magic that battle, this would be a great opportunity to just blob all my units up and keep dropping AoE heals on them and just restore as much health as I could before the end of the battle. Not to get a pat on the head from the AI with a decisive victory or anything, just to put your army in the best shape possible before the next battle. Yeah, wow, the Nurgle hero on that chariot, he was messing up Noblars. That was hilarious. 400 kills on him. Go, man, go. But yeah, he wouldn't have done as well against ogres. I mean, they were only trash ogres. There was nothing really scary in there. No like man-eaters or iron guts or anything. Ogres are cool. I'll probably cover ogres really soon. I love that faction. They're so cool. Though apparently you get in trouble on YouTube if you say the name of one of the heroes, because it's got like a 3-letter word as part of his name. Like it's just a syllable in one of the parts of his name. But apparently if you say it on YouTube, you get in trouble. Now, I would like to normally subjugate these guys. Now, you know, screw it. Yeah, okay, change the plans. So I'm going to sack this. We'll have to wait one extra turn to get Colexonated this way, but that's okay. We'll still get another vassal out of it, a ton of souls. Cool. So there's another vassal for us. So that's another what? it's another 10 research rate per turn. It's another 10 diplomatic relations with all the chaos, different brands of chaos faction, and it's an extra 25 souls per turn. So that's cool. So at the moment, you can see I'm on neutral souls per turn. You will spend most of the campaign in the negatives, because as soon as you turn these things on, they start dropping. But that's okay, because you earn tons from battling. So the idea with the souls is not to necessarily have a positive souls income. It's just to make sure you've got a ton of souls in the actual, like, souls bank. Yeah. You want, like, a good backlog of them to use. And you can just keep adding to that by battling. You don't necessarily need to, have like a positive income for them. In the early campaign, sure, because you might not be using too much. In fact, by this point of your campaign, you very likely will have probably turned on one of the Gifts of Chaos. But I am deliberately not doing that because I want to show you how you can do this kind of as bare bones as possible, and then if you're still having trouble, you can use other mechanics to your advantage. Things like the Regiments of Renown, things like turning on the Gifts of Chaos, stuff like that. So at the moment, for example, I could increase the replenishment rate for Marauder units. They would also give my Marauders more melee attack and experience, which is pretty cool for leveling them up. So I have to pay 500 souls for that right now, and then 50 per turn after that. This one could be really good. Shadowstone letting me blast down the walls of cities and giving my armies more missile resistance. I will very likely turn this one on when we get to that settlement there. Or maybe even before that, depending on who we've got to fight and what they have in them. Because that missile resistance is gangbusters against things like Chaos Dwarves. Because they can bring a lot of very powerful shooting to the table. Okay, so interesting what you saw there. So Tamokan buggered off in the other direction, and he's appointed Mercy Plagueys, what a name, to be Archaon's guard instead. So even with a faction vassalized, like I can't control that. I can't do anything about that. Like I could go back over and ask Tamokan again to protect. I could click on him specifically and ask him to protect Archaon's army. But that's what I did in the first place, and like he didn't do it. He followed me for a bit, and then he got another army that could do it, and now he's buggered back off home, probably to go and recruit some more units or something. So vassals are good, and you can have a certain amount of control over them, but there's also limitations. Which is why, where it's possible, if you want to absorb a faction, it's better to confederate it where possible. If you can, but you can't confederate races outside of your own faction. So like an ogre faction could never confederate a greenskin faction, for example. And as you saw with Kolek, you can vassalize them by force of arms, by conquering their last city. Confederate by doing that. You can also vassalize by doing that. But certain factions, like most of the Order-Tide factions, they can also vassalize through diplomacy. So you get really friendly with someone of your own race, and then eventually when you're stronger than them, they'll be like, yeah, okay, we'll join you instead. So that's how that works for sort of non-Chaos Tide factions. So for the Chaos, the only way you can do it is by force of arms. Same with Ogres, same with Greenskins. Okay. Although their mechanics work a little bit differently. You don't have to take their last city for Ogres and Greenskins. You have to beat their faction leader in combat. And if you do that, you just like automatically get the option to just wholesale like acquire their whole faction. Just okay, so we'll go with the Fighter's Lodge, I think. Yeah, we'll get some more Exalted Heroes. I feel like I did that in the last campaign. I must have not hit the end turn button, so I didn't actually save. That's alright, whatever. So we'll be a couple of turns behind on those buildings, but yeah, whatever. Chaos is a very forgiving faction, so it's all chill. God, this guy was strength rank 1 last time I looked. What the hell happened to him? Bloody hell. Look, I'm going to take that for now because we've already got a non-aggression pact with him. I'm going to take that. Will he give us some more money? Yeah, he'll give us another couple hundred gold. Why not? Yeah, I'm going to try and vassalize him. So that'll either be when he's really weak, I'll stab him in the back and do what I did to Tamokan. Or I will do that diplomatically. So for making vassals as Archaon, it's usually just easier to bonk them on the head and take their last city and be like, you're now my vassal. But it is possible with other Chaos factions. Well, it's possible with anyone, really. It is possible to do it diplomatically, but it's usually going to involve you handing over a settlement or two. I'll show you how to do it, but hopefully we can just knock him on the head, because there's some good territory up there, and I don't really want to have to give him a Dark Fortress site. I think in my last campaign, I was just about ready to give him that city to get him to vassalize, and then he like lost a fight really badly and was just like willing to sign up to be my vassal. It's like, oh, thank God. Alright, so let me just quickly do a diplomacy check just to see if I can scoop up any money from anywhere. How much would you pay me for that, just out of curiosity? Meh. Meh. So yeah, if you go into here, you can see, you can just like see if any factions are willing to vassalize, just because they like you, or you're way stronger than them and they're scared of you. Alright, let's go. So we're just going to go straight in and smoosh the Chaos Dwarves. Astrogoth Iron Hand, here we go. So I want his trait on Archaon, because it's a good caster, like it's good for the schools of magic that Archaon has. I want that trait. Now let me just check, because I think there was a few units back here that I wanted to recruit, so that I could pass them off to Kolek Sunator when I pick him up this turn. So yes, definitely Dragon Ogres, he buffs those. I'll give him Trolls. As you saw in the last camp, if you watched the last video where I did the follow-up and look at the unit roster and stuff, I showed you my Kolek Sunator army. I tend to have a lot of monsters in his army. I like running theme armies where I can. So I tend to take just like a ton of monsters and Dragon Ogres and Shoggoths and Trolls and stuff with Kolek Sunator. What is that, a city battle, or is that just a like yeah, look, I'm gonna do this manually again. I'm just trying to keep the casualties down, but I'll do this one really quick. This video today will be a little bit longer. I'm recording it later in the day, and I've got a bit more free time, so I've got like another hour from this point right now before I've got to go and do some stuff. So yeah, thank you for your support and for watching the channel. Had some really nice feedback on YouTube, which is very, very encouraging, and I'm really enjoying doing this. So I mean, if people are wanting to keep watching, then I'll keep making. I won't always have the same amount of time, obviously. Oh, did my Hell Cannon get killed? Oh, damn it. I didn't even notice that getting killed. Oh, well. That sucks. Doesn't matter. I can replace it. That's why I was able to recruit those Aspiring Champions. Hey, on the bright side, Aspiring Champions. And the other thing is, I would have gotten rid of the Hell Cannon like within the next sort of 10-15 turns anyway on Archaon, because it's going to get to the point where it's just slowing me down. As in, because I've got to like leave units behind to protect it and whatever, and I generally prefer to have a fast army as Chaos. I like running around and smashing stuff. So even at this point of the game, I reckon I can do most of this, even without the equipment, even without like any specky equipment or stuff or anything. Ah, for God's sake, off the chariot again. Come on, mate, get your act together. I reckon we can probably do most of this fight just with these two heroes. So I probably won't do the whole thing just with the two heroes, because it'll take quite a long time. Then again, maybe not. So what I will show you is how the Purple Sun of Xerius works, because that's a pretty good spot for one. I wouldn't usually use it on only 3 units, but there's not that many units in this battle, so that's proportionately I'm still using it on a good chunk of their army. So that's how that works. And as you can see, it's just absolutely demolishing their health. So if you can get them in a big circular blob where it kind of can't wander off, or if it is going to wander off, it's going to like bounce off a wall and come straight back in, that's the ideal. Alright, I'll get the other character up. Okay, I take it back. I am going to do this with just the characters, and then the other units are just going to chill and take absolutely no damage at all. So these kind of recuperation fights, look, to be honest, they're obviously not in the spirit of the game, but I'm the kind of gamer that if it's in the game, I'm going to use it. If I need to, especially to get some sort of advantage. Like, I don't really use mods or cheats or anything in games, but I'm absolutely okay with exploiting something that's already in the game. And that's not to like be preachy and say that you can't do it. If mods and cheats and trainers and whatever your thing, then great, enjoy. You know, I don't believe in gatekeeping video gaming. I think people should be able to do whatever they like to have fun. Now, obviously, if you're a big multiplayer player, like stuff like cheating and stuff, you know, screwing over other players, like, yeah, that's probably not cool. Because that ruins like the competitive field and stuff. But it's been a long time since I've been anywhere close to competitive in gaming. And so, yeah, so it doesn't really affect me. But yeah, don't cheat in multiplayer games, guys. That's not cool. But if it's a single player game, knock yourself the frig out. Cheat, mod it, do whatever you like. I'm like this close to downloading a mod or something to let me get the golden Doomslayer skin in Doom Eternal, because like I have been trying my backside off for so long to get through that on Ultra Nightmare mode, and I can get through it on Nightmare mode, no worries, without dying. But then like I try and play Ultra Nightmare, and it's like that bloody Patrick Star SpongeBob meme. It's like when I'm playing on Nightmare mode, I'm like scientific precision and I'm awesome at it, and then I play on Ultra Nightmare mode, which apparently isn't any harder, you just don't get saves, and if you die you have to restart, and it's like I'm nailing bits of wood to my head. So yeah, I may well do that. That's a single player thing. Like I want a skin in a video game that I don't play multiplayer. Like I think I'm prepared to cheat for that, maybe. But then would it be satisfying? I don't know, that's a hard one. Alright, so right now we've got a lot of souls, and I want to be able to retain some movement range after this one, so I'm just going to sack it, because I've got plans for this city. So then we're going to double back and take it, which I normally wouldn't do with Archaon, as you've seen. Now, here's an important tip. If I were to leave the end turn like this, and Astrogoth had 2 armies here that I can't see, what can happen is that one army, let's say that one army was a full stack and one army was just a single lord. The single lord can move in here and besiege this settlement, thereby trapping Archaon inside it. That would then let the second full army come around and attack this guy by himself, denying Archaon the reinforcements. And if he was close enough, the besieging lord could actually participate in that battle without dropping the siege. So when you are moving in to take a city like this, and you're not quite sure what's ahead of you, what you should do after you've taken the city is click your lord back out again. That way, even if they besiege the city and trap the garrison inside, they can't isolate your lords. I have been caught by that so many times when I haven't been paying attention. Alright, now because we don't play for supply lines, I am just going to recruit Kolek Sunny to right off the cuff. And then I'm going to drop him into the city, and I'm going to pop him back out the other side so that he's standing in the same control zone as all these 3 guys. That's just, like, I realize that that's very, very pedantic, but I don't want anyone getting caught off by themselves and isolated. I hate it when that happens. Okay, so Kolek, I thought I was going to have to respec him by pressing this button. That wounds a character for 3 turns. You can do this with any character. It wounds them for 3 turns, but allows you to completely redistribute their talent points. The Hallelujahs could be heard on the other side of the moon the day that they added that to the game, I reckon. So I'm just trying to think about what I want to do with Kolek. Look, he's probably not going to... I'm not going to be able to afford much of an army for him for a while, but even he by himself is a powerful foe on the battlefield. Yeah, I'll take his bombardment ability, why not? That seems like a pretty good thing. Now, that's not a bad bit of armor. It's not great, it's not bad. What's Archaon got on him at the moment? He's got the armor of damnation. Okay, yeah, okay, look, I'm going to show you this, because I tried to do this last time and I completely balked it. So, armor plus 40 for a guy that's already got 140 armor, or a guy that's got 110, or a guy that's got 145, or a guy... Okay, so Kolek could use a little bit more armor before he hits the cap, but whatever, who cares. If you click, you got 2 bits of green armor here, and you don't want them, right? So you go click, click, like this, and then you go fuse. Now, I reckon, because there's only like a limited number of items that any faction can access, I reckon that we've got a very good chance of getting a good blue armor out of this. So I'm going to click this, and then watch me get the Armor of Khorne, which is just like basically these 2 put together, and just more armor, which is crap, so I don't want that. Come on. Yes! Armor of Destiny! So, again, armor, can't escape it, but the 10% ward save and the 5% physical resistance, that's really nice. So, happy with that outcome. Yep, take that one there for the extra souls, that's looking good. Got Kolek back, that's good. Now, I want to put... transferring models between armies, units between armies rather, takes a little bit of their movement. So rather than swap these units over at the start of the next turn, and eating up a little bit of movement, I'm just going to put the second guy in march stance and drop those units in this turn. So then Kolek can just move unimpeded the next turn. I'll check the recruitment pool here. Oh, we've got some nice stuff in there. I don't want to pay for it over the end turn though, so I'll recruit it at the top of next turn. I get some more trolls and some more aspiring champions. Bit bummed about the hell cannon, but whatever. As you can see, I don't even know where that died. That must have been back here in that big fight with the ogres. Didn't even notice. Too busy bloody flapping my jowls. Okay, so we don't have the erection of ruinous monuments yet, but we're going to have that in 4 turns. So at that point, I'm not going to build it yet because I'm not going to do anything, but at that point I will build this building here, and that will unlock Hero Recruitment Exalted Hero when the technology erection of ruinous monuments is researched. What that will do is allow me to recruit, rather than recruiting this Exalted Hero that's available up here. We've got a Nogle's Rot one, that's nice. Rather than having to recruit him up here and run him all the way down before I can put him in Archaon's army, I can just recruit him here and put him in Archaon's army. So it'll take like 4 extra turns to set up, and then a turn to recruit him. So it'll take like 5 turns before we can get that hero into the army, but that's still a right sight faster than recruiting him this turn and having him leg it the entire way. Loving that we've got another Nurgle one. That's really good. Oh, wow, cool. Cool. Sorry, didn't mean to get distracted there. I just got a text message from a friend with some really good news in it. It's cool. I'll reply to him in a bit. It just saw her out of the corner of my eye. Yeah. All right. Cool. Sorry. That's really good. I'm really happy for her. Okay. So these are just like random things that pop up. So like you can't. There's no rhyme or reason to any of these. So we get every army in the whole world gets a charge bonus for 5 turns. Okay, so when this happens, it's just alerting you to the fact that a quest is here. Now, the way quests work, I will cover them this video. I've been not doing it, but I will. So the way quests work is like this. Now, when I first started playing this game, I thought you had to walk your lord all the way over to the quest marker, and I did that for like 6 months before I realized that you can actually just do this. So that's quest for Archaon. Alright, so you click on Archaon, you left click on the marker, and it'll pop up here in your objectives, and you can actually just click the teleport button and pay 500 gold and teleport there, and then it will teleport you back again once you're finished. I literally spent 6 months walking there. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to do Archaon's quest battles in this video because I won't have time, and also his army's not quite ready for them. Some of them can be... Like, I could get through them now, probably, but it would be a pain in the butt, and it would take ages, and I'm just not that desperate for his items. Like, they're really good, don't get me wrong, but Archaon's already, like... He's just such a strong guy. Okay, I'm taking him off this infernal bloody chariot right now before I forget. Oh, that's the wrong guy. Oh, he also got a chariot. Okay, well, he can come off that. You can come off that. And they are going... next level, actually, he'll get his rot beast. So that's probably, yeah, a bit of a waste of time, but all. Mounts also do have different costs. So, like, a horse is less expensive than a chariot, is less expensive than a dragon. But, I mean, the costs are pretty negligible. So you probably don't need to worry about it too much. But if you're absolutely screwed for cash, or income rather, taking your characters off their mounts can actually save you a little bit of gold. Okay, again, not going to recruit anything this turn. I'm actually going to put all of these in ambush and just see if I can... Actually, I'll take Kolek out. I'm going to... Because we can't make that settlement this turn anyway, so I'm just going to chill here for the turn and put 2 of the armies in ambush and just see if we can goad any of Astrogoth's armies into revealing themselves. Because if they think that we don't have... like, the AI obviously knows... The video game knows that I just moved an army there and put it in ambush. But armies on the campaign map will pretend like they don't know that. So they've just, like... They'll forget that Archaon's there if he remains in ambush. And... yeah, so if they think that I'm weak in this area, they might move an army in to try and help. Or try and stimmy me. Like that, there's Ostrogoth there, just below the Great Skull Lakes. I just pointed at the screen, but you can't even see that because I don't have the camera turned on. Let me know if you guys want me to put the face cam on, you can. I can, rather. I didn't really feel like it was adding anything to the videos. And it was just, like, and I could never figure out where to put the damn thumbnail. I felt like wherever I was putting it, it was obscuring something useful on the screen. Okay, so the reason I'm falling back from this is because I want to kill Astrogoth quickly, and we might not get a chance to fight him again. And so I want Archaon to be the one to lead the attack against him, because I want his defeat trait on Archaon specifically. I could have fought that way, but then in the first instance, it would have been Grog that got Astrogoth's defeat trait, and in the second instance, it would have been Kolek that got Astrogoth's defeat trait, and neither of them have the schools of magic that Astrogoth's defeat trait buffs, so that would have been a waste. And then I would have had to have waited 5 turns for him to respawn somewhere and then tracked him down again and blah, 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 blah. And the aim of the game here is to just, like, go fast. Because I want to try and get over to the Empire before Festus and Azazel are wiped out. Now, I would prefer Festus over Azazel, just because I like Nurgle more, the most. But for me, it's like Nurgle, and then all the other 3 gods are tied. I don't really have, like, another favourite. I don't really have a god that I don't like. It's just Nurgle and then all the other 3. And I really like the concept of Undivided as well. Like, they're definitely just in that same tier. So it's like Nurgle, and then everything else is all equal, in my eyes. Okay, so let me show you some trickery. Where you attack from will dictate where a lord flees from. So, for example, I want Astrogoth to run back over this way. Now, it's not 100% perfect, but you can do a lot here. So, I want him to flee. If he's going to flee from a battle, I want him to flee in that direction specifically. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just see, when I attack with Grog, if Astrogoth flees. Okay, he's not going to flee, so I'm just going to move him back out with the retreat button. If he had fled, he would have gone over this way, and then I would have followed him with Archaon. But he's not going to move, he's just going to stand there. So we'll go like that. Okay, what do they have that's... For the sake of time, I really want to roll that, but I won't. I'll just do this one quickly. Because I don't want to be taking, like, stupid casualties all over the battlefield. We're starting to get some good experience on our units now, and I want to keep this momentum going. So yeah, very tempting, definitely, to auto-roll this one, but I will just try and get through it really quick. Like, it won't be a difficult battle. The only dangerous things in his army are Astrogoth himself, his Bull Centaur guy, the hero that you can see there. The 2 units of Blunderbuss, if they get like a clear line of fire on one of our infantry units or one of our characters, they'll do a lot of damage. And that flying whizbanger, the cow thing, Red Bull. But he's not really dangerous to this army as such. If he's actually probably a good thing that we don't have the Hell Cannon. He would have been lethal to the Hell Cannon and would have been very, very difficult to keep staved off. Because we don't have any flying units at the moment. Alright, so pretty standard. Putting everything in the forest. Now, again, the way that I'm playing here is meant to be for newer players, right? This is definitely not the only way to play the game. And I'm not suggesting that it is the only way to play the game. And I'm just trying to show new players how they can get every every available advantage, so they can actually figure out how the game works, rather than just constantly getting steamrolled and not understanding why. Because that was very much my experience when I first understood this game. I was like, I think I understand this, I think I know what I'm doing, I'd have a go, and I'd get absolutely creamed. So for me, it was really just a process of trial and error, and just like continuously restarting campaigns and just doing like a little bit better each time until I figured how stuff worked, and then yeah, just sort of trial and error and practice. In terms of raw time played, I think this is probably my favorite game series. Probably closely followed by like Fallout and Skyrim and that sort of stuff. I like RPG type games. Really, the only first-person shooter I play is Doom, and that's because my late dad and I used to play it when I was a kid, so it's pretty nostalgic for me. But I do play the new Doom because the soundtrack was written by an Australian, represent, and yeah, it's heavy metal and it's awesome. Okay, so this is going really well. As you can see, I am just pissing them about. And the idea of just pissing them about at the start of a battle is just to try and get as much damage in as you can before they start doing damage back. It's also a good way, using magic and artillery on an enemy is a good way to get them to abandon a defensive position and come walking towards you. They won't always want to do that. Sometimes they will want to just like sit there and hold a defensive position, particularly if they've got firepower superiority over you. So if they've got guns and they've got artillery and stuff, they won't want to leave the position that they're in to come and fight you, because the AI is smart enough to recognize that that's giving up a major advantage that they have. But doing stuff like this can just like make them, they'll get sick of just sitting there and soaking your spells after a while, and they'll come after you. So Archaon can almost certainly beat Ostrogoth in combat. Let's have a look here. So if we have a look, we're already chipping through his health. That's really good. So he's got 63 melee attack and 68 melee defense. Archaon's got 76 melee attack and 65 melee defense. So Ostrogoth will have... So what that dictates is basically their chance to hit each other and defend against each other's attacks. So Ostrogoth's got a pretty good chance of hitting Archaon, and Archaon has an extremely good chance of hitting Ostrogoth. But there's other contenders in the way if we just try and duel him at the moment. So what I'm doing is just using Archaon here to bleed out the enemy, because he doesn't have any like regeneration or anything yet, and while he is tough, on Legendary, he is not capable of tanking all of this by himself yet. Like, he will take a lot of damage from that. I should say he's not capable of tanking it well, unscathed. As soon as we can get him some regeneration, then we'll be in business. And there's a bunch of different ways we can do that, but it does require a little bit of luck. And or the fusing of items. What are they? Hobblegons, sneaky gits. I don't really care about them. Okay, so we've gotten rid of the Bull Centaur render, I'm pretty sure. Yep, he's shattered, and now he's dead. Good work. We can't do anything about the flying guy until he chooses to land. So we will bring Kolek and his crew over here and just smash into the back of these guys. I'll drop that on them first. As soon as I've got, what, 5 seconds more? Get the Exalted Hero Nurgle back out there. Attack the Orc Labourers. I'm going to get the Cavalry to smash into those Hobgoblin Archers. I'll make short enough work of them. Just put the Control Group on so I can keep track of them. Now the Spirit Leech on Ostrogoth. Where's Kolek? There he is. Use his buff thing here. So that's splash attack, power damage, base weapon damage, and armor piercing weapon damage. Oh dear. Alright. That's getting a little bit shooty. Let's do less of that, please. Yeah, okay, so here we go. So we're getting bogged down over here, and now we're starting to take some bad casualties. Fortunately, we have the unit mass that we can probably just punch out of this and get into their shooting. The sooner I can get Ostrogoth to die, the better off we'll be. How are we going over here? Yeah, okay, we're demolishing stuff over here. Okay, so they're shattered and they're gone. The Great Taurus has landed. The cavalry can handle him. I'll just get the Hellstriders out because they won't like fighting him. Oh dear. Okay, so a bunch of our monsters, all of Kolek's monsters are fleeing. That's not good. It's because they've got the local superiority. So if we have a look there, so hopefully I'll show you that. It's not showing it. I'm pretty sure that's still a thing in this game, the local superiority. I swear I've seen it before, but I can't seem to find it now when I go looking for it. Okay, that's okay. We don't really mind. We knew that leadership, trolls have like very poor leadership. Them breaking and fleeing is not unexpected. If they rally, great. If not, whatever. Because even as they're running, as you can see, they're still regenerating their health. So even if they rally like that, they rally in a better state than they were to begin with. Oh, they got a bolt thrower. I didn't realize that. It's only a hobgoblin bolt thrower. That's pretty poor, but still, I didn't realize they had that. All right. Hopefully that'll deal with Ostrogoth. We're running out of magic now, which is not good. What is he fighting there? Cast Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. What are they? Oh, he didn't get rid of the Bull Centaur render. That must have been a unit of them or something instead. I thought they were gone. So problem with Kolek, as you can see, big target, and sustained missile fire is not a good thing for him. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get him out of here. Even if we have to pull him back off the battlefield, that's fine. He will still get XP for participating in the fight, as will his units. And he didn't have so much force that that pulling him off the battlefield is going to drop our balance of power hugely. Oh, get the Hellstriders after those blunderbusses, that'll be good. Alright, let's get this happening a bit more over here. So I want to get those units there. I'm going to bring them up this way. And they're going to come in over here. There we go. Cool, where's Archaon? There he is. Astrogot's nearly dead. I'm just going to pop that down on him. Trolls are taking out the bolt thrower. Those trolls are getting absolutely mashed by that bull centaur guy. Yeah, he's not in... Archaon's probably not in good enough shape to fight him by himself just now. That's okay. Let's get into some of these hobgoblins. They're nice and isolated. And we should be able to shatter them off the battlefield pretty quick. God, those Hellstriders are having a tough time against the blunderbusses. Yeah, so that's the thing about Chaos Dwarves and Dwarves. It's like, yeah, they might be a ranged unit, and they might be, like, softer than the, like, line infantry. But at the end of the day, it's still a bloody dwarf holding a gun. And dwarves are no slouch in combat. Oh, not liking that, not liking that. Alright, now we'll get Archaon on him. On them, sorry. They can chase down those. Archaon can chase down them. Tag him with a Spirit Leech as he comes in. What do we got going on over here? Okay, so they're just running all this stuff off the field. That's fine with me. Get the spawn in here. Oh, yeah, shift clicking. So you can queue up orders. So I can move the troll unit to here. And then I can hold down shift and right click. And they'll get into position there and then they charge. So that can be handy for setting up flank charges and stuff. Alright, that blob there is starting to shift. That's good. Just keep pushing at them. Gonna get the Hellstriders to run down the blunderbusses. They can't rally. Archaon's not having a good time against old mate there. Let's pull him away and throw another Spirit Leech at him. Archaon should be able to outrun him pretty easy. Drop that on them. Oop, not liking those blunderbusses shooting unimpeded. Oh, actually, you know what? At the start of the battle, I think I did know that they had a bolt thrower, which is why I put the, whoa, jeez. Which is why I put the Marauders at the back of the, woods there, so they couldn't get shot at. But I forgot about it in the meantime. Alright, Knight's going that way. Knight's going that way. Archaon's running away, but that's alright, he'll rally. Just that, man, these guys are so tough. Yeah, those guys, they're tough as nails. That is okay. Archaon replenishes his health pretty quick. So there's no harm in using him as a tank, as long as he doesn't die. Which he didn't. Cool, battle's over. Let's try and run down as much stuff as we can, particularly any of the monster units that remain. They're not going to be able to reach anything else, so they can just go for the hobgoblins, that's fine. Let's try and get that Lord dead. Oh, turn that off fast mode for a sec. Okay, try and get that Lord dead. Yeah, I don't really have anything else that's capable of running anything down. Archaon fled off the battlefield by the look of it. I don't think he died. Better not have died. Nah, Lord recently fled. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, alright, close victory, that's fine. Man, that was a lot tougher than I gave it credit for. Like, we didn't take many casualties, but, yeah, damn, I forgot how tough those Bull Centaur Rendor thing, the heroes in that army are. They're bloody tough. He gave Archaon a decent run for his money. That being said, in my defense, Archaon doesn't, or in Archaon's defense, he doesn't have his talent points in his melee tree, his, like, combat tree yet. If he'd had all the points in his combat tree, they wouldn't have been able to touch him. Yep. Money and souls looking good. Okay. Oh, cool, we got Harry the Hammer. Nice. He's a DLC guy. If you don't have him, then don't worry about him. So this is what we're after here. So the effect duration plus 10% for Laws of Hershut, which we don't have access to. That's a Chaos Dwarf thing. But Death, Fire, and Metal spells. And effect range plus 10% for Death, Fire, and Metal spells. And as you've noticed, as you can see here, we've got a Metal spell, a Death spell, a Fire spell, and a Death spell. So that's a really good one for Archaon to have on him. And would be almost entirely useless on the other two lords. I mean, it would give them a little bit of extra spell resistance. But yeah, much better to get on Archaon. And Archaon's hero now has his Rot Beast mount. Yep, cool, that auto-equipped. Mounts usually will auto-equip, but not always. Take Scarred Veteran for the health. That sounds pretty good. Get despoilers for some extra money from raiding and sacking. Yeah, looking good, looking good. Now, what do I want to kick out of this army for that Harry the Hammer, the spawn? Correct. Alright, pop him in that army there. Okay, how do I want to do this? I think I want to do it this way. He's already got his missile resistance, Jesus. Damn, he's vulnerable to missiles, that's crazy. Alright, so what I might do is I might recruit 2 units of trolls and a unit of aspiring champions. I'm going to send Kolek. He can't get anything else, can he? No. I'll get him some marauders just to soak up some missile fire, potentially. Oh, actually, Mercy looks like he's going to come in on this one as well. Okay, that's good. Probably just try and auto-roll that. So what we'll do is we'll take these guys and move them over here. And then we'll have the 3 of them together. Just auto-roll that city. We're not going to lose anything, are we? Nope. Cool. And we are just going to... Actually, I will occupy that one. Because then I can put the other hero building in that one in a few turns. And then we can get sorcerers and exalted heroes. And then when we're done with it, we'll just hand it off to, I don't know, whoever. Or abandon it and get someone to settle it. Cool. Alright. Follow-up battle with Archaon. This should be pretty easy. Yeah, that'll just be an auto-roll. Whatever, we'll take a few casualties, but who cares. We're in much better shape coming in to this area than we were when we got here, so that's a-okay. And we've smashed Astrogoth's main army. And I don't think this early game he will have much to fall back on now. Let's check. We go in here. Okay, so he actually might still have a little bit of army left. That strength bar is not just armies, though. It also counts their economic power relative to yours. Cool. So no casualty, or no deaths, rather. Put training in. Yep, sounds good. Can't get anything else there this turn. We do have the rusted branding iron now. Cool. Bit short on cash, though. That's the only thing. Screw it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn... low into Zinch authority. That's because we've got the Nurgle hero in there. That's right, we've only got one Zinchian unit. And it's got a shield, so that's fine. I'm going to go down here to the rusted branding iron, and I'm going to turn them into Nurgle marauders. I'm going to leave him with a halberd for now, but those 2 are going to become Chaos hero, Nurgle warriors of Chaos. And then they've retained a bunch of their XP because they were high level when I upgraded them. And they are now going to become Knights of Nurgle. Those 3 are going to be turned into Bile Trolls. That one will be turned into a Bile Troll next level. He doesn't have enough experience yet. This one's going to go into a Marauder Horseman with Axes of Nurgle, so that he can become a Knight of Nurgle. I'm actually going to keep the Hellstriders as Hellstriders. I'm not going to turn them into Knights of Slaanesh, only because Knights of Slaanesh are slower than the Hellstriders. And they're now... by like they're my well, they always have been, but they're my fastest cavalry unit, so I kind of want to leave them as they are. I don't need Spawn of Nurgle. I just got rid of some of them. This unit of Marauders, yeah, that unit of Marauders can already be turned into a Chaos Warrior of Nurgle, which is good. Cool. Sweet. Bit short on cash now. Bit back into the negatives for the income now. That's all right. I'll just go into raid stance, and there we go. Oh, then he doesn't heal. No, I'll heal him. I'll just soak the income loss for a turn. That's fine. In fact, I might be able to... No, definitely not, but I can... Yeah, there's no one there on a non-aggression pact with. I want all cards on the table in terms of who I'm going to mash. Yep, Grog can have that. A bit more melee defense for him. So Grog's melee stats now will probably actually be on par with Archaon's, because Archaon doesn't have his points in those trees yet. But we'll get there. Physical resistance for chaos. So it can be good to check what resources you have in cities as chaos, because even though trade's not a huge thing, each of them has like a special thing that it does. So if I go here and have a look at the salt, for example, salt for chaos gives me growth per region plus 10 after winning a battle all provinces. So that would have been a really good one for me to get, actually. It's silly of me to leave that. Marble, though, for example, not a huge one for chaos. So construction for all buildings minus 5% for faction wide, which is, I mean, it's good. But, you know, you've usually got so much money as chaos that it's not even funny once you get up and running. Leather is a particularly good one, I think, because I'm pretty sure that one gives you missile resistance. It's only like 1% or 2% or something, but it's, you know, you get enough of them, and that's an extra 10% or something you can get your hands on, which is not to be sneezed at. We'll take Kolek back out of the city, as I showed you before, so he can't get isolated. Move Grog up to there. Do I want to dedicate Grog? I've got the souls for it. Do I want to dedicate him? Well, I've already got Kolek running around as Undivided, and I've already got Archaon running around as primarily Nurgle. I'll leave him Undivided for now because he's got some Undivided units. So yeah, as you can see, I'm basically just making little warbands. Like Archaon's got a big old army, but the other two lords are like just sort of warbands at this stage. Like the lord and a few units, and then I'll upgrade them as I go. Hang on for a sec. I just got to pause the recording. Actually, I'll wait until. No, it's alright. He can wait 2 minutes. My dog wants to go out. I'll wait until the start of the turn, and then I'll just quickly pause the recording and take my dog out. Because I realised if I pause the recording now, you'll miss what's happening over the end. Okay, so the fact that Ostrogoth's offered us a peace treaty tells me that he is probably not as strong militaristically as that relative strength bar would have us believe. If he's offering us a peace treaty with a heap of gold attached, it means that he's feeling threatened by this war. Like, he wants out of it because he's not sure that he can win it. The AI in this game are absolute cowards. If they think they've got an advantage, they will try, like, they'll break alliances, they will stab you in the back, they will do all sorts of wacky stuff. And then the second you start beating them, they're like, oh my god, peace treaty. And you're like, no, sod you. You started this, I'm finishing it. Well, it's chaos anyway. Alrighty. How long have I been going for already? Oh, that's right. Okay, let me just pause the recording here real quick, and I'll just take my poochie out. Hang on. Alright, back in. Alright, so let's have a look. Where do I want to vassalize Ostrogoth Ironhand? So that's not a Dark Fortress site. It totally feels like it should be, but it's not. That is a Dark Fortress site. So we want to get to here ASAP. So what we'll probably do is we will take this one with Kolek and Grog. Well, besiege it with Kolek first. Right, so besiege with that. Then we're going to move Grog up behind him. Have a quick check in the net meh. Can't really afford anything anyway. So just for this battle, I'm just going to pop them in there like that, so that all of our force comes in at the start of the battle. And then we're going to waltz. Archaon normally you wouldn't be able to move through a city, hostile city zone of control like that, but because it's under siege, I can just roll straight past it, and it's no problems whatsoever. So with all three of those armies there, that'll be an easy auto resolve. Yep. Blip. It was like nothing in the garrison anyway. Now we are a little bit short on cash. Well, a little bit short on income. So I am going to sack that for the money. And then I'll use Grog to take it. Just so that we've got that as a fallback point, and we can move armies through this area more easily. We won't keep this settlement for very long. It'll just be a short-term thing. Oh, got a blue item out of that. Nice. It's not the best blue item in the world, but that's okay. Better than nothing. Upgrade that to tier 3. Oh, I already put the Exalted Hero one in there. Damn. Damn, I should have done Sorcerers in the other one. Oh, whatever. 2 Exalted Heroes. Whatever. So in Uzkuluk, I'll put in +10 armor for Chaos Warriors. Yeah, whatever. It's better than a kick in the pants. Erection of Ruins Monuments should be up next turn. Yep, cool. So I'll put that in. Make sure I'm getting the right one. Yep, Exalted Hero. I won't bother building the Sorcerer one because I built the wrong building back up home. I thought I'd already built that building somewhere. I built it in there, not there. Oh, well, whatever. As soon as this one's up to tier 3, in fact, as soon as that one's up to tier 3, I'll just put the Sorcerer building in there. So it'll just have to wait a few more turns, which is fine. Again, Archaon's got the spell casting covered for now. I'll pop him out there just so we don't get cut off again. Let's check his strength ranking. Yep, okay. So we're going to make a beeline for that settlement, and then we're going to double back and vassalize him using that one. So we'll just put here Archaon's talent points in. Yep, Unholy Resilience. Discard Veteran. Harry Hammer, we'll go that and that. Oh, actually, what have we got up here? What's this? Perfect Vigor's pretty nice. Oh, Vigor loss reduction for the whole army, that's tempting. Melee defense for the whole army, that's tempting. I'm going to go with melee defense for the whole army first. Then I'll get the Vigor one after that. Yep, discard Veteran on him. Bit of Deadly Blade on him. Yeah, I'm still not 100% sure if I want to dedicate Grog, if I want to leave him undivided. Well, the longer I wait, the more XP he'll have when he turns back into a... Like, if I do dedicate him, he'll have more XP when he does the dedication. So, whatever, I'll just wait. Because you can't undedicate them. Like, you can dedicate stuff anytime you want, but you can't undedicate it. So, yeah, I'll just wait until I decide what I want to do with that. Because Arbal's also up here, so there should be quite a lot of Khorne corruption around. Hey, sneaky bastard, where was he? There's quite a lot of... Oh, he's in ambush, right? There's quite a lot of... possibly going to be quite a lot of Khorne corruption up here. So it could be worth maybe even dedicating him to Khorne and picking up some Khorne units for him. I don't know, we'll see. What are we going to do about that ambush there? I don't really want to have to double Archaon back. That'd be annoying. Let's see. Let's have a think. Yeah, I'll just get one of the vassals. Just ask one of the vassals to come deal with it. That should be alright. I'm just going to put these guys on fastest. No, not just them, sorry. I'm going to go allied factions. Put them on fastest. Try and speed up the engine a little bit. Okay. So that guy's still in ambush now. So even though he's in ambush, we could see where he went. So he's probably still going to be standing there. Like where he was around here somewhere when he went into ambush stance. So I don't really want to get... There's a few different ways to deal with an enemy in ambush. Just trying to think how I want to do this. What I might do is I might bring Kolek back down to here, because the ambush was around there. So this should take us around it. And I'll march him into that city. So if the guy tries to take that city, he's got Kolek to deal with. I'll leave Mercy here to defend... Actually, no, I won't. I'll send Mercy to defend him. Yeah, that'll work. And then we will just move on. So this guy can reach that city where Archaon can't, for some reason. So that's fine. We'll lead the attack with this guy. Oh, no we won't. Change of plans. It's just a hobgoblin army, that'll be right. Alright, so what we'll do here is we'll go into ambush stance. 50-50. See what happens. He's pretty well at full health. Let's move him out. Close enough to full health. And then we'll get... I'll just scooch him back a little bit. Like that. No, we can't really afford to recruit anything. There's some Shoggoths there, though. Some Dragon Ogres, rather. I'll get them for Kolek in a minute. Oh, next turn or turn or two. Alright, so we've got Erection of Ruinous Monuments. That's really good. I want to get Gifts of Nurgle now, and I'll show you why when that's ready. There's a Gift of Nurgle that will help you out really a whole lot early game. So, with the Erection of Ruinous Monuments, I can now go and recruit an Exalted Hero from here. And we get 3 now, so I'm going to get Nurgle's right guy. And I will build the Sorcerer building there. So next time we can recruit a Chaos Sorcerer as well. Cool. So yeah, getting those heroes up. So it's turn 22. We've already got... What's that? 5 vassals. And yeah, we're smashing along with Archaon. So it's turn 22. Archaon's level 19. So that's pretty good if you're sort of keeping up kind of level for turn on the... level for turn on the harder modes. Then yeah, you're sort of keeping on pretty well. I always use that as a bit of a rule of thumb. Like if it's turn 50 and my main lord, my like faction leader is only level 20, I know I've been going too slow with that campaign. So I usually try and sort of keep up at least a battle or every turn or two, or multiple battles per turn or two, with my faction leader at least. You're just try and keep them moving, keep them earning, keep them leveling, and keep them unlocking new gear and quests and stuff like that. All right, well, this one's probably been long enough. It's already an hour. Actually, screw it. We'll go another turn. I got time. We'll go another turn. Okay, so we walked right into that ambush. Nicely done, Nurgle guy. That was well played. But the fact that he didn't immediately launch that attack... sucker. The fact that he didn't immediately launch that attack means that he's not confident that he can win that. So we can probably just smash him with Kolek on an auto roll, I reckon. He's going to try and starve us out. Oh, don't know if you guys heard that. That was my neck. I wasn't even trying to crack it. I was just like stretching. Yes, run, little people, run. Now, I think, because I messed with that, I accidentally locked them. Unlock that, and then I'll go fastest as well. Ooh, Boris Ursus has given... Okay, so Boris Ursus is what happened to Arbol. Yep, that sounds about right. Okay, so we'll take him out of March Stance, and we will just go... Kabrar. Yep, close victory. We lose a garrison unit, but who cares? You don't have to pay to replace them. They just replenish on their own. So losses on a garrison are always acceptable. Like, that's fine. Who cares? They'll come back. I'm dumb. I should have recruited that hero up there, not down here. Even though the building's in that settlement, I actually don't need to recruit it there. So that's going to take an extra turn to build now, because over the last turn, that settlement was besieged. So it wasn't able to complete its build cycle then. Opened Eyes is a pretty good one. That's extra experience gain. Right. Yeah, Slaughterer's Strength is pretty crap. Yeah, that's pretty crap. Alright, Opened Eyes it is. Alright, so as you can see, we're running into the negatives now, but it's chaos, it really doesn't matter. In fact, now that I've done... Whoops, didn't mean to do that, Now that I've done that last battle, I can just kick them. That'll free up a little bit of money. Okay, so attack this with Archaon. Not even going to bother bringing the other Lord for now. Actually, yes, I will. Will I? Yeah, I will. Right, he's going to go there. And we are going to go... Take this Exalted Hero. He's going to keep moving that way. He'll meet up with Archaon next turn. I'll probably dedicate him to Tzich to balance out the authority in Archaon's army a little bit. So we're going to sack that, and we're going to leave that. We're going to leave that so that we can double back with Grog and Kolek next turn and vassalize the Chaos Dwarves. What have they got in that? 12 garrison of 12 and no army. Oh, that's not their last settlement. Okay, that's interesting. Alright, new plan. Kolek will take that next turn. Well, Grog and Kolek will take that next turn. And then we will sell that to Arbol, and hopefully we can use that to leverage a vassalization out of him. And then we'll vassalize the Chaos Dwarves up here with that settlement. And if the Chaos Dwarves get wiped, I mean, ideally we want to grab as many vassals as we can, but it's not like we actually lose anything if the vassals get, if like a faction gets wiped out before we vassalize it. It just means we don't get the bonuses from having that particular faction as a vassal. So it doesn't take away anything that we've already got if they get wiped out before we get there. Yeah, definitely casualty replenishment rate for the heroes army. That's really good. And the vigor loss reduction one, because that will make the heroes, it'll make everything get less tired less quickly, but the heroes especially, and Archaon himself. So you can see here, if we go in there now, he's got nothing left. Right, there's like, he doesn't even register on the strength bar against us. So we can tell that he's got no armies anywhere. Alright, cool. Well, I'll leave that one there, and we'll pick up next time with episode 4, where we will put paid to the Chaos Dwarves, and then the Archaon's campaign kind of really will start there for us, because that's when we'll start getting stuck into the Empire, and going to see if we can save those other Chaos Dwarves, going to see if we can save those other Chaos Lords from a grisly fate at the hands of the Empire and Kislev. So at the moment, we can see here that we haven't met him, so we can't initiate diplomacy, but we can see on the map that the Ecstatic Legion, so that's Azazel, he's still alive. We can't see what's happening over here yet, but we can see the Nurgle corruption's high, so that's a pretty good indication that Festus is still there. Cool. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate the time you've taken to do so. If you've got any comments or feedback or thoughts or questions or suggestions, please chuck us a comment. If you want to support the channel in any way, please do. It would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much. See you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye.